Have you studied other coordinators in terms of rhythm of play calls, what they've done? Is that anything that you've thought about doing or done?
I think what I've relied on uh, is the staff here and their experiences, and I've relied on some of the other guys that I've learned from in the past that have done this.
Such as?
Obviously, Josh McDaniels, who I was with at New England, does a great job with the offense there. So I was in a position as a position coach to see him work, and there's certainly been a lot of coaches, not only in the offensive coordinator position, but in the assistant positions that I've learned so much from that have really kind of prepared me for this opportunity.
Have you talked to Josh over the last 8 months at all, just for feedback?
I mean, I've talked to a lot of guys. Most importantly, I've talked to our staff here, and those guys have been so helpful. I mean, we have a staff that has done this position that I'm going to do this year, and so I've really relied on their experiences, and it's been so valuable to me to have those guys that I can talk with and continue to learn, and it's a learning. Daily learning process for me, and I've been one to definitely seek the help of our staff because it's a strong staff.
And one last thing, have you called plays at any level before?
Well, I've had the opportunity to call plays in the preseason in New England, but that was the only experience that I've had in calling the plays. And then, of course, through the preseason this year, Eric did such a great job for us in the fourth preseason game, Studesville. So I learned a lot from him that day. So I've definitely, I'm very humble, and I'm learning every day, and I've been fortunate to have a lot of guys around me that are very good.
Thanks so much.
Yep,
Jeff.
thank you.
What is it like? I mean, I take myself back 100 years,
Yeah.
where they had me calling plays in a high school scrimmage,
Yeah.
and I realized that whatever amount of seconds you have to call a play, it's like so compressed.
Yeah.
It's shorter than you think.
Right.
So what is that like for you? The speed of it, and also, are you calling like one or two or three plays in your mind at a time?
Yeah, I think that as we go through the week in preparation, that's really where the call sheet is built, and what we try to do as a coaching staff is really go through every scenario that could come up. And I would say by game day, the entire staff, I'm simply the messenger and I'm the play caller into the quarterback, but the work has really been done.
Okay.
And that we're preparing and we're putting those plays for those specific situations. And then there's the element of adjusting during the game, that I think is so important to play calling and offensive success, is the ability to adjust once the defense may give you something slightly different than what you prepared for. And that's part of being good on offense, and our players know that and our coaches know that the ability to adjust is going to be very important for us this year.
Now, speaking of adjusting, you lost your left tackle.
Yeah.
You lost arguably your best wide receiver in the past few
Right.
days. How does that affect the game plan? How does that affect your play calling?
Yeah, I think that one of the things that we've prided ourselves on here together as a staff is using the guys that are in the room with us currently to their strengths and finding things they do well. And certainly that's my job, is just to walk in the room and use the guys that we have in the room, not worry about anybody that's not there. Certainly we have a lot of respect for the guys that are no longer with us as players and people, but our job is to use the players that we have, and that's the goal every week, is the guys that walk in the room that are playing for us, that are active in the game. It's our job to figure out what they do well and move the ball. And certainly we've embraced the change. We know that there's a lot of change in the NFL on our roster and other rosters, and it's part of the NFL. And rosters don't stay the same, and it's our job to figure out, again, what our players do best and move forward.
Well, what does this offensive line do best?
Well, I think that one of the things that we're going to have to do is, we're going to have to communicate well with each other here in these first couple weeks. These guys are going to be playing with each other for the first time. So I think that all the things that we believe in fundamentally and all the things that we believe in as far as the offensive line position and the other positions, we're going to have to do really well in the first game. Good communication, good clean operation, good assignment, all those things are what we're asking the guys to do. We have new players. I don't know who's going to be in there because, we're in the process of we're going to play the best 5 guys right now. So by game day, we're going to have the best 5 guys that help us win, and that's true of all positions too. Like we're going to play the best receivers to give us a chance, and the best running backs, and we're going to use different guys, and that's part of our job as a coaching staff to kind of choose those guys that are going to help us on game day win. So I don't think anything's changed for us, as far as what we're being asked to do as a coaching staff is, regardless of who's in the room, we're going to do the best job we can of utilizing their strengths and trying to win the game.
Have
Al,
you,
I'm sorry, I just wanted to ask you.
Go ahead. I was just going to follow up with, have you stressed in the past few days to Ryan and to Josh getting rid of the ball that much?
Yeah,
faster?
I think there's certain fundamentals at each position that we're stressing, what we've done is we've listed the core fundamentals at each position that we think that are the most important fundamentals at your position. And certainly with the quarterback position, there's a number of things that we think are important. One is protecting the football. We've asked our team, pass offense-wise, not only the quarterback, but we've asked our team to try to play on time in the pass game. And what that includes the receivers getting open in a timely way, the offensive line giving a clean pocket, the quarterback having good anticipation and awareness of getting the football out. So to single it and say that we've asked those guys to do one thing only, we stress that we need to play on time in the pass game. But certainly, I would say all 11 are involved in that too. Guys got to get open, guys got to protect. I have to do a good job putting them in the right play call. So I think that, a lot of these things we see in the quarterback, they rely on so many other things to play the position.
Chad, Andy Cohen.
Hey, how you doing, Andy?
Good. I'm a little bit of a student of the game, and
Yep.
I'm wondering if you ever put in tapes of some of the more successful offenses through the years in the NFL to try to learn from that, or has the game changed so much that looking at Air Coryell or
Yeah.
looking at the greatest show on turf really no longer helps somebody like you?
No, I think that's something that we constantly do in the off season and in season, is we're constantly studying other teams offensively, whether it be college or NFL. We have a staff that's kind of has certain things that they look for on a weekly basis of other things, other trends. We're always trying to make sure we put our team in the best position to win. And one of the things that I think helps that is to have new and creative ways to do things. And certainly, I haven't hesitated to look at other things, whether it be in the past or in the present, and say that's something that could help us win.
Chad, when Brian told us, I guess Thursday, that Ryan would start, he said he gives us the best chance to win.
Yep.
Why is Ryan Fitzpatrick giving this team the best chance?
Well, I think that Ryan, and this is just speaking of Ryan, and he's done a real good job with his leadership. He's done a real good job with his communication. Certainly, he's an experienced player that has done a lot of the things that we want in the quarterback. He's done well, and I'm excited to see him play. I know that he's going to rely heavily on the guys around him in this game, and they need to play well for him to play well. That's important. It just doesn't fall on him. But certainly, I've been impressed with his leadership. His overall, I would say, consistency as a leader and as a person. I think that's something. He's had some ups and downs in training camp and through the off season, but he's really done a good job of having some mental toughness and being very steady in his approach and consistent, in his work ethic. So those are things I think Ryan brings great intangibles, and I think that's something that's been really good to see in him.
What does Josh need to do to get on the field?
Yeah, I think that like all the players that maybe aren't in the position they want right now as starters or in backup roles, what we've done with them here recently is we've sat down with them and say, hey, here's some fundamentals, here's some things that you need to improve. Obviously it's just not Josh. We have a number of players that are in that backup role. And Josh is we've talked about, he's still learning the offense. He's doing a good job on all the things that aren't the physical part of the game. He's improving on, whether it be his awareness on the field, his overall familiarity with the offense, his fundamentals, that he needs to work on, just like all the other players need to work on. So, he's in the same position a lot of our other players are. There's just a few fundamentals we're really concentrating on with him. There's some things that he can continue to grow and learn in the offense. So I would say we're pleased with his progress as far as that. It's not, he's been very, he's embraced our coaching, he's embraced the offense, he's trying to get better on a daily basis. He's had a good week so far in his preparation and on the practice field, so that's all we can ask.
And then one more, if I may, is it as simple as saying we feel like Ryan's in a better position right now to lead this team to where we need to be? Is that fair?
What was your question? I don't understand.
You mentioned leadership
Yep.
and tangibles being
Yep.
a huge part of it.
Yeah, you mean Fitz being in a better position?
Ryan and Josh.
Yeah. I think there's a number of factors that go into that. I really do. I listed leadership as one of Fitz's strengths, but certainly do I think that the other guy lacks it? I don't. I think that's just one of the things that Fitz does well. I think there's a number of things, like I said, at all positions guys are working on right now, and it's really a long list for a lot of guys, and all we're asking him to do is just try to improve, and certainly we all know he's got a lot of ability, and we're excited about him being on our roster. I'm glad he's here, and I think that, again, Fitz has provided some things because of his experience and his overall just exposures to different defenses and his familiarity to the offensive scheme and some other things that have been helpful in his his development here as being a starting quarterback.
What would you do? Describe what Gouge has brought to the table in his new old job.
Yeah, he's Gouge is somebody that I've worked with in the past. Certainly have a lot of respect for the job that he's done when I was with him in the past, and certainly in the role that he's in now. He works extremely hard. He really tries to. He brings out the best in his players. He coaches whoever's in the room. I'm excited about working with Gouge, I think I really think we got a great coaching staff here. We got guys that have had experience in the position that I'm doing now, guys that have had a lot of experience on different teams. So really, we have a wealth of knowledge that I can kind of lean on, and it's been very helpful.
What do you see as the biggest challenge in the offensive line at this point? The state of things?
I think that whenever you have change in the offensive line, one of the most important things is we say, just get on the same page, and communication's required. I think that's probably like it is at other positions when you have new players, is just the players that come in, embrace the offense, work hard, learn the language. The language might be slightly different, but the techniques are all very similar to other NFL teams. So it's just a matter of, learning the language, being able to communicate with each other, and that's important to that position and important to other positions as well.
Coach, just a general offensive strategy is getting the ball quickly to your playmakers.
Yep.
But with this offensive line, you need to develop tremendously.
Right.
How important is it for you guys to get the ball to Alberts, Game,
Yeah.
some of the running backs as well?
Yeah, I think that one of the things that's exciting about this offense is that we do have a lot of guys that we want to get the ball to. I don't know if all offenses can say that there's a list of skilled players that we have that we really want to try to get the ball in their hands. So that's very exciting. There's a lot that goes into that, getting the ball in their hands. Obviously, a lot of guys have to do their jobs for those guys to get the ball in their hands. Like the quarterback's got to execute his job, the offensive line's got to execute his. I have to do a good job, or the staff has to do a good job of putting us in the right play call. So at the end of the day, though, we have guys that I think have the opportunity to make plays with the ball in their hands, and that's exciting. And again, it's our job as a coaching staff to scheme those ways and get it in their hands regardless of who's throwing it, regardless of who's blocking. The task is to get the ball in their hands. So.